Hello, everybody. Take two of this week's TLC podcast. There's a reason why. Little side note for everybody: we may be scrapping the TLC from our name. Name change could be coming very, very soon, possibly next week.
Possibly.
There could be a little heel turn involved.
You never know with us.
I love my dirty heels.
That you do.
Speaking of it was a good night for me. Actually, it was a good night for me in general, the Royal Rumble itself. The two matches that we predicted outside the Royal Rumble, not so much for me, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good showing on the Rumble. I mean, we each got all four matches correct on the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not only that, but my two other choices were also the final two of each match.
Exactly. That was very good of you.
Yeah, and especially my long shot of Liv Morgan. I give myself a lot of credit there.
Right. I mean, I don't think anyone saw a Bailey, Liv, Jade Cargill final three.
No.
And see, that's one thing. I think the women's Rumble was a lot better than the men's.
Yes.
This year. And I think the men's, like the women's, we had Jordan Grace make a surprise entrant.
That was super cool.
The men's, I think, and Naomi return was awesome.
Yeah.
I think the men's, it became like a mid-card heaven. In the beginning, it was just like Ludwig Kaiser coming out, a couple other people, until Cody came in at 15.
Right.
It was cool having the Usos started off, but I feel like from like 3 to 14, just lacked.
Oh yeah, there was no star power at all in every single person that came out entry 3 through 14. To me, I just knew, okay, you're not going to be around long.
Right. Yeah, let me see here, because let me actually...
I know it was Grayson Waller 3.
Grayson Waller was 3. Hold on. Yeah, it was Grayson Waller 3. Mm-hmm. A re-debuting Andrade, which was kind of disappointing.
I was excited to see him.
I mean, I was happy to see him, but it was just kind of like...
The arena didn't really pop for him. Yeah.
The arena didn't pop. The arena was kind of caught off guard until...
Yeah.
And that's how we had a lot of people over. It was just kind of like, until you actually saw Andrade come out, it's just like, oh, Andrade's back. And then it was Carmelo Hayes, who you knew wasn't going to win the Rumble.
Sure.
Nakamura, who I thought, okay, he might do something. And he was in for a while. He had a decent showing, but...
Yeah, eliminated by Cody, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was Santos Escobar, which we knew wasn't going to do anything.
Sure.
The biggest disappointment for me in the whole Rumble was Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley. Kross came in at 8. Then it was Dirty Dom at 9, Carlito, Lashley. And I get why they had Kross and Lashley go out so quick to build up the 6-man feud.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, after Lashley, Ludwig Kaiser, Theory, Finn, and then Cody came out.
Right.
And then that's when I thought it started to pick up, finally.
Yeah, it definitely picked up the second half of the Rumble. Again, a really strong Rumble. I thought, anyway. But I do agree with you, like the middle or like the beginning. Yeah. You know, like you said, 3 to 14. I would agree was very lacking.
Right, and it was very predictable. The final 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the 4 guys that we said, hey, like basically WWE was telling you. Right. These are the most important. Yeah.
Yeah, and really it was. And I mean, to me, one of the highlights of it was how strong they let Braun Breaker be. in the
Yeah,
next.
I heard and read that basically Braun Breaker was put in replacement for Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Basically did everything Brock was supposed to do, came in the spot he was supposed to come in at, eliminated everybody he was supposed to eliminate,
Right.
and got eliminated when he was supposed to.
Exactly.
So they just took out Brock Lesnar, put in Braun Breaker, and off to the races. And I think he knocked it out of the park.
I think he did pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think this was the push for Braun to the main roster soon.
I agree. I imagine now they're in the finals of the Dusty Cup against Carmelo and Trick Williams. I imagine Carmelo and Trick win, and then you can break up the Wolf Dogs and Braun can move up to the main roster, or hey, maybe bring them both up, bring up the Wolf Dogs. But
right, I put my predictions on the spreadsheet already. I'm using a spreadsheet this time too for the
nice, good job.
I already put my picks in for this coming Sunday at Vengeance Day.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that as we discuss that.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do with Vengeance Day. Based upon the fact that they teased Trick Williams a little bit on Friday night, coming to help Carmelo on SmackDown. Carmelo's been flirting on SmackDown here and there. A couple good aspects there. But I just find I think we're getting to that point where we're going to need some fresh blood on the main roster. It is that season, especially right after WrestleMania.
Yep.
And I think there's 3 people who are going to get caught up sooner than later. On the men's side. Women's side, I'm not sure yet. So.
Yeah, I would agree. Trick, Mello, and Braun Breaker. Yeah.
I don't think Trick's coming up.
You don't think Trick's coming up? Okay.
No.
Who do you think is the third man then?
This will spoil my one pick.
Okay.
I think we're going to get Braun, Carmelo, and I think the Mad Russian Ilya Dragunov.
Okay, so I guess you're predicting then Trick wins the NXT Championship on Sunday. I
think what's going to happen is I think Carmelo and Trick are going to have a falling out during their first match. The Wolf Dogs, I'm going to predict the Wolf Dogs win. And then it's going to be like Carmelo will attack Trick. We're not going to they're going to play it like, oh, is Trick going to make it to the main event? Is he going to make it? And then he's going to come out and pull off the miracle upset, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm seeing for Sunday.
Yeah, to me, and I agree with you a lot about that. It's 2 different lines of thought, and one of which being, do you drag out this Carmelo and Trick Williams story a little longer? But like to me, if you have them win the Dusty Cup, then they're supposed to go on and challenge for the tag titles, right, at Stand and Deliver.
Right.
Well, if then you have Trick Williams win the NXT Championship, is it then Trick versus Dragunov? Is he pulling double duty again at Stand and Deliver?
No.
And to me, yeah, I think you don't want to go back to that well. That's why I agree with you on if you're having Trick win the championship, then don't have them win the Dusty Cup.
Right. I think that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and going back to the Rumble, I mean, we did get our Roman victory. We all predicted.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who really look, they weren't taking the title off of Roman in a fatal 4-way. They weren't going to have him lose it without getting pinned. Like that would kind of like, as much as I don't like Roman and as much as I like, as far as the heel goes, and you don't want, like, you're okay with punishing a heel, that would really feel disrespectful to end a record-breaking title reign in that manner.
Yeah. I think it would be. I think we need the one-on-one at Mania. Yes. And I think we know who we're going to get in that one-on-one.
Yes.
Even though they threw a caveat to us on Monday.
And I think that was kind of like the tease. Like, remember a couple of years ago when Edge won the Royal Rumble and he went to all three brands and approached all three champions?
Yes.
And it kind of, like, Seth Rollins and his plea kind of, like, felt like when Edge went to NXT, and, like, you talked about how, WWE has stood for, they really focused on the E in the WWE. But, man, it really feels like in NXT they pay more attention to that second W.
Right.
And to me, it kind of felt very similar. And Edge didn't end up challenging for the NXT Championship that year. Instead, he challenged Roman Reigns. So, to me, like, this feels very similar to that, where it's like, yeah, that was a great moment. That was really cool. And it gave us all a curveball and at least left us for a little while contemplating, okay, what's going to happen? Who's he going to challenge?
Right.
But I think when it comes time, push comes to shove, it's Cody and Roman for basically all the reasons that Seth pointed out why you shouldn't.
Exactly. And this was because you and I were texting Monday night after it happened. That's what I was explaining to Denise was they need to get someone for the WWE Championship that will be there every week and defend and be on TV. Their main title has been held by part-timers for way too long now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said way back when Brock Lesnar, as Paul Heyman likes to say, suplexed John Cena out of the main event.
Right.
And took the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. God, what year even was that? 17?
I think, yeah.
17. 16? Yeah. But anyway, so he beat John Cena, took the WWE title, and then was the part-time champion. I hated it then. I hate having a part-time champion now. I'll always hate having a part-time champion.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the attraction. I'm okay with Brock Lesnar coming back once every 6 months, which I guess we should talk a little bit about why Brock Lesnar will not be around anytime soon. Boy, Vinnie Mac, you have stepped in it this time.
He's received the Benoit treatment.
Yeah.
When you go on the WWE app or WWE to search the roster and the past superstars, you type in the name McMahon, you get Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Vincent J. McMahon, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, and look, I understand. I don't want to downplay the severity of what he did in this case.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the man is still responsible for all of this.
Right. And the other thing is, too, it takes two to tango.
Yes.
And my thing is that, yeah, there's a lot that Vince has done wrong with this whole scenario. And I'm not going to defend him by any means.
No.
But I have to blame Miss Gray for a little bit of this, too, because she wasn't hush-hush when Vince paid $20,000 to a plastic surgeon for her to get surgery. She wasn't hush. She wasn't saying anything wrong when she got a brand new BMW from him.
No.
She wasn't saying anything when he was sending her bouquets of flowers every 2 weeks. So there's yes, the whole thing's messed up and wrong.
Absolutely.
But why weren't you saying this when you were getting everything either?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the hush money's been spent. The gifts are no longer coming in, and so now she wants to cry foul.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like,
and the thing is, Vince McMahon can be as guilty as everybody says he is,
right?
But it doesn't mean she's innocent. Like
exactly, it takes two to tango. It really does, and I mean, now granted, passing her along to Johnny and Brock and all that stuff, like I don't know. But hey,
man, I really want to listen to this week, although they don't talk about current stuff. That's like on the Bruce Pritchard show, Something to Wrestle With. I want to hear Bruce Pritchard act as, when he does his voices, be John Laurinaitis. Oh gosh, Vince, this girl sure is hot. Oh boy.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't think Bruce is going to talk about it.
Nah, no way.
No, I don't.
Because that means he'd have to bury his boy Vinnie Mac.
Exactly. I don't think that's going to happen. And I got a lot more respect for Shane now that the stories are breaking out and how he left the company because he didn't want to be like his dad.
God bless him. Yeah.
Admire that. You really have to admire that. And you know what? Once his legs are healed, I think he needs to run back.
I would absolutely love to see Shane McMahon, if nothing else, as let him keep the McMahon name alive on air. Like, he doesn't even have to wrestle. He can be an on-air authority figure. He can even be a dirty heel authority figure. It'd be great.
Wouldn't you love that?
I would absolutely love it. He is the best in the world. And now we could have him feuding with, once he comes back from injury, CM Punk.
Now, this is something I wanted to ask also.
Yeah.
Who do you think Punk is going to be? Who do you think is challenging Rollins at WrestleMania? Because we both said we think Cody is going to go with Roman.
Yes.
That makes the most sense. It's also another thing that is the title that has eluded Cody's family.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I think, to finish the story, yes, it would be great to have another Cody-Seth match.
Sure.
I wouldn't complain either way. Hey, I'm going both nights, no matter what. I get to see a Cody Rhodes main event at WrestleMania. However, I wanted Sunday, and I want it against the big dog, and I want to see this.
You're going to get that. You are going to get Cody Roman 2 for the championship, WrestleMania Night 2, Philadelphia. And they're going to burn Broad Street to the ground.
I think it's going to be one of those. When Cody walks out to the link, and when he walks out at the link at this WrestleMania, I think it's going to be one of those where not just one person, but I think a ton of people are going to have goosebumps. You're going to get it when he walks out. I think the pop is going to be that huge.
I agree. It's going to be a special night down there at the link. Man, I wish I was going. I still want to figure out a way to
figure out the way to get to one of them.
Yeah, I feel like I have to. At this point, it's like I can't really find anybody that's wants to go.
Right.
I might just say screw it and get myself one ticket and just go by myself. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. I mean, if it's Saturday, I know someone who might go with you.
Okay.
If you want a 10-year-old company, you never know.
Hey, you can ride with me. Sean and I have a good time.
Yeah.
I'll look out for him.
Yeah, that's always a possibility with Mr. Sean. But no, I think it's going to be interesting how they get to who's going to challenge Rollins now.
Yeah.
So I think there's a few names.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like maybe a chamberman. Look, I wouldn't be opposed to Drew McIntyre. And what if Drew won at WrestleMania and let Drew keep the belt until Punk comes back?
That would be kind of cool.
It's a ready-made feud.
It is. That it is. Yeah, because really, who do you go with? Do you go with Drew in this circumstance?
Maybe Gunther.
Do you go with Gunther, title for title?
I would. I would love a title versus title, Gunther versus. I think that's what I would go with ahead of Drew, because I would love to see Drew and Sammy one more time, and like, this whole like Drew beat Sammy on Raw, and like now Sammy's never beaten Drew. Like you could play off that rivalry, and they could face each other at WrestleMania. I think it would be a nice story that they could tell.
Right. I think though there's something else very interesting that could very well happen.
Okay.
I think there's a certain name, certain free agent that could very well headline WrestleMania Night 1 with Seth Rollins.
Is this a man of Japanese descent?
It is a man of Japanese descent because something very interesting hit my email today.
Yeah.
Pro Wrestling Tees sent out an email. Last call for NJPW Kazuchika Okada merchandise. So,
wow, I may have to take a visit to New Japan I may have to take a visit to ProWrestlingTees.com. Not a sponsor of our show, but you should still check them out.
You should. And I'm wondering the fact that they're doing a last call. If he was going to AEW, they're already aligned with them. They run a t-shirt shop. That's kind of like
that's basically the telltale sign that he's signing with WWE.
And I'm just thinking, Japan's not that far of a flight to Australia.
So he shows up in Perth and is at Elimination Chamber. Ooh, man.
What happened if they announced 5 names and Adam Pearce said, I'll have a 6th name for the Elimination Chamber when we get there? And that's the 6th name.
Oh, that would be insane.
I think people would lose their minds.
I think I would lose my mind.
I think that, and what would you do if we got Night 1, Rollins Okada, Night 2, Cody Roman?
Bank account be damned, I have to be at both shows.
I was sitting having lunch with my parents and my sister, and that email popped up, and I'm just like, I got to drop this one tonight.
Yeah.
I think that's a telltale sign.
Yeah, that is huge breaking news here on the TLC podcast. Oh man, Kazuchika Okada to me that's a telltale sign that he will be signing with WWE.
But he still might sign with AEW and they're just pulling off the New Japan.
Sure.
There's that possibility. Regardless, he's coming to America to wrestle.
Yeah.
Regardless, now he has said he wants a WrestleMania match.
Sure.
Obviously, everyone who's ever worked in pro wrestling.
Yeah, if you've laced up a pair of boots in this business, you want to wrestle at WrestleMania.
That's the ultimate goal for somebody.
Yeah.
Could we get that?
Sure. I mean, if Okada comes in and you put him right on top, like I'm sure there will be some who would say, "Oh man, shouldn't he have to work for it? Shouldn't he have to earn it?" Dude, he has spent a decade over a decade earning it in Japan.
Right. Yeah.
Kazuchika Okada should come in as a made man. Like, just Michael Cole can pump up everything he's ever done in New Japan
Right.
and just continue to list off his accolades. You could have Corey Graves sit there saying, like, man, if you're going to talk about his accolades, we're going to be talking all night. We've got a wrestling show to put on.
Right. And they could easily get him over
Oh, yeah.
to the nonchalant WWE fans.
Sure.
And the wrestling nerds would be
we'd be losing our minds.
Would be like,
we'd be in wrestling nirvana.
What is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think his last match is in February. I don't know.
Yeah, February 5th or 4th?
It's one of them.
That Saturday or something. Yeah, I think that's this weekend.
Yeah, I forget what day is his last match. While we're chit-chatting.
Yeah, it's either Saturday or Sunday.
Let me see.
I know, I've got the reminders coming up on my New Japan World app all the time.
Right, yeah, because let me see here. Because I'm trying to see where to watch NJPW this February. All right. The Road to New Beginning, Corrigan Hall. Let me just see. I'm trying to see because Ospreay's leaving as well this month.
Right.
So I'm just trying to see here.
Yeah, Ospreay's in AEW now.
Right. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that. No, it's not the 3rd. Let's check the 4th. Let's check the 4th. Not the 4th.
Oh, is it the 5th?
Let's see here. I'm looking.
Or maybe it's Super Bowl weekend. Actually, it might be Super Bowl weekend.
Faction Gauntlet Farewell? Oh, Faction Warfare Gauntlet. Oh, gosh. So, at the New Beginning, let me see here. That is Sunday, February 11th.
Okay, yeah, Super Bowl Sunday.
Which is also Super Bowl Sunday.
That's going to be a day.
Okada against Tanahashi is on the 11th.
Ooh, that's got to be the last. And he'd have 2 full weeks to get to Perth. I think he can make it.
I think he could.
Heck, I think if he was taking a boat, he could make it.
Right. I think after Vengeance Day, the next card I had lined up is the New Beginning on the 11th. Mm-hmm. That is a pay-per-view, one of their equivalents to pay-per-view.
Right.
And, I mean, that will have the dream match of dream matches on it as well.
Okay.
It's going to have Danielson against Sabre Jr.
Yes.
So.
Ooh, we've been waiting for that one for a while.
We have been. And then that's also going to be – that might be Ospreay's last match because that's going to be that they're hyping it up. It's going to be the United Kingdom against the War Dogs in a steel cage.
Okay.
So.
Oh, right. Yeah. And this is like the first New Japan steel cage match. In almost forever.
I forget when they had one was.
They talked about it on the New Year's Dash when they were pushing that match.
Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, they talked about it, but
yeah, Rocky Romero said it was like the first time in like 10 or 11 years.
It's been a long time. They don't do a lot of cage matches. And let me just check here. The New Beginning on the 23rd. Yeah, that's it. That's going to be it, I think. Okada's last match is going to be Super Bowl Sunday, it looks like.
Yeah.
Because I know he's also got I think they have the never openweight title still, the 6-man.
Okay.
So I got to see.
Remember, Carl Anderson was the never openweight champion when he signed with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
They let him go over and drop the belt while under contract.
Exactly. So let me see here. Oh, the title's vacant right now.
Oh, okay.
Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii were the 6-man tag champs. That's a dream 6-man team right there.
Yeah, right.
They vacated the titles. So
okay.
I wonder if they're going to continue that because they do have enough titles in New Japan.
Seriously, they have a ton of titles.
You do. And then I think they're also having an event the same day as Elimination Chamber.
Oh, okay.
Because I know the day before, I'm looking forward to the 23rd because there's going to be a NJPW World Television title match that day with Tanahashi against Matt Riddle.
Oh.
And the main event is the first defense of David Finlay's Global Championship against Nick Namath.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're going to see some former WWE boys in New Japan.
Yeah.
And then the day of the Chamber, they do have another event, which will be headlined by the rematch of Wrestle Kingdom. Sonata challenging Naito.
Yeah. Wait, so a lot on the docket right now in pro wrestling. I love that we just went over a little bit of the New Japan schedule.
Yes.
Well,
we
AEW.
Had Okada to WWE.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's huge news. And if that becomes official, I mean, talk about the wrestling landscape forever changing. This will be... Do you think it would affect because WWE loves to do their basically one guy from a region? Do you think this would affect Shinsuke Nakamura?
I don't know. We actually had a couple comments I'm going to throw up here. Since I forgot I'm hosting, we got a WrestleMania spoiler alert.
Okay.
The Rock and Rikishi will spoil the match. I like that.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I think it's. Wait, what were we saying? I got distracted by that.
So, we're about Shinsuke Nakamura, whether or not.
You know what? I don't think it really is going to hurt Nakamura that much.
Okay.
If Okada comes, because you can do one of two things. You can
tag him, or you can have him feud.
I was going to say you could tag him, or you could put him on different shows.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Well, especially if Okada's coming to challenge Rollins, you would assume he's coming to Monday Night Raw. You could move Nakamura to SmackDown.
Right.
You could put him in any kind of rivalry over there on SmackDown with any. The thing is, it's such a joke, this whole two separate brands. Like, I hate it. And I know everyone's going to tell me, like, oh, well, you have two shows. If you have two brands, like, then you're not working as much. Well, you could still have the guys only slated for their number of days. Like, everybody signed a contract to work so many days.
Right.
So you don't want to exceed those days. So just you spread it out to where, like, okay, for a couple of weeks, like, everybody's only going to work once a week, okay? If that's your whole idea, on TV, you're only working once a week. Right. And then you'll work your house shows. Like, you could still say to a guy, like, hey, so if you're working Raw this week, well, next week you could work SmackDown, but you're not going to work Raw and SmackDown.
Right. You could. Or the thing you could do is you can make them work. SmackDown is Friday. Do the house show Saturday, Sunday, do Raw Monday.
Yeah. And then they go home for a week and come back the next Monday or come back the following Friday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of potential they could do.
Yeah. I don't understand why this need for the two separate brands. Like, I've never been a fan of it. And to me, the whole, like, and I know they want to make sure guys feel special. You have enough championships to go around. So that's why, well, you have unified tag belts, but, you know, that's.
I thought when they split the brands, they were going to split the tag belts. But
so did I. In fact, that's the other thing I'm saying. If you're going to do it right. Like, really make it a split.
Right.
Like, this is the other, like, we're in that kind of, right now, we're in that gray area period where, because Cody won the Royal Rumble. Cody's a Raw superstar, but he's probably going to face Roman at WrestleMania. And so Roman's a SmackDown star. So, like, basically for the next 9 weeks or so, it's going to be Cody will wrestle on Raw, then he'll wrestle on SmackDown, and he'll work both shows.
He's going to have to work both shows.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it last year.
Sure.
And I think this
somehow
year,
the World Cup's spinning. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's going to do it again.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, you know, we're going to have kind of like, you know, when Asuka did that, she, you know, was going to challenge. Oh, okay. It's just the same thing. Yeah.
I was trying to move my mouse.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but like Asuka was kind of the one that stood out to me where she won the Women's Royal Rumble and then was kind of on both shows leading up to her and Charlotte at 34.
Yeah. And God bless Asuka.
Absolutely.
I saw a graphic and I thought this really, really shows her longevity. Since 2016, she has won a title every year in WWE.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
Every year she's won a different title or has held a title. Because I think 2016 and 2018 was her long NXT title.
Yeah.
And then it showed between the tag titles through all the SmackDown. Every year she's won a championship. And good for her. Which led me to another fun thing I saw on Facebook. With regards to Japanese wrestling, and people were saying how WWE's racist and they hold back the Japanese talent. And this guy's writing, well, on his little blog, well, when's the last time we've had a Japanese champion, an Asian champion in AEW? Because it's only been the women's title, right?
Yeah.
Shida and Riho have held the title, but other than that, no Asian men have won gold, I think, in AEW.
No.
And then this person was going on about, oh, by the way, the picture's irrelevant to my post. And it was Kairi, Asuka, and Io with all the gold. Kind of just giving it to people with the way they talk and don't think.
Oh, yeah. Apparently anymore, you don't have to think to have an opinion.
You really don't. And that to me is amazing when you see a graphic like that, like, hey,
right,
look at how well these three are doing. And you're worried about Kazuchika. If he goes to WWE, if they're going to squander him. And also, let's face it, Nakamura's had a good, solid WWE career. Yeah,
I don't get the saying that they've squandered Shinsuke Nakamura. I think Nakamura's had some great. Look, he started against Sami Zayn in an NXT match that was, I mean, an absolute banger.
Yeah,
and I've always said, man, like WrestleMania 34 for the knocks that you give on Nakamura in his run after WrestleMania. Like I understand, but that match at WrestleMania was incredible.
Yeah.
Like bell to bell, that match did not disappoint.
It was after the match that we got this.
Yes. Yeah.
That
And look,
monkey.
I'm a big fan of heel turns. You know me. I love a good dirty heel. But that was weak.
That was.
The low blow after the match.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
They should have had him low blow to win the belt and turn heel.
Right.
That
or low blow it to try and win and maybe either get caught or somehow AJ kicks out.
Right.
And then AJ still wins, and then, Nakamura can, instead of doing the, hey, let me pretend like we have so much respect, and then cheap shot you.
Yeah. And that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
People will say, well, it's not his quality of matches like it is in New Japan. Okay, it's not.
Well, it's a different style.
But it's two different styles. New Japan matches and New Japan's built around matches with very little storyline. Where WWE is built with storyline and not the greatest quality of matches compared to a New Japan. Hell, I'll even say it. The matches I think overall in AEW are better than WWE.
Yeah, if we're just going with bell to bell, like move for move spots and so, I probably would take most your average middle of the card AEW match versus your average middle of the card WWE match. Right. There's probably no comparison there. Right. I mean, the main events sometimes maybe, I think they can go back and forth with as far as who's got the better matchup.
But WWE, no one will ever, and especially now with Triple H at the helm, no one will ever defeat him in the overall picture for a show. The way
not even, they won't even come close.
No, the way he could put the show together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, that man learned from the two best wrestling minds of the 80s.
Yeah.
Between his father-in-law, Dirty Vince, and the American Dream. He got to learn through those two that knowledge. And when you have that knowledge, not only do you have Vince and Dusty's knowledge, but you go even back further, you get the knowledge of Eddie Graham and Vincent J. McMahon and all the other promoters that Dusty worked with. Jim Crockett, you get, even though Jimmy Crockett was more of the businessman and Dusty did all the booking and all that.
Yeah, but I'm sure Crockett still had his hand in some of it.
He did, but you get the knowledge from an Eddie Graham, passed from Eddie to Dusty to Triple H. That's where we're not going to have really a viable competitor to WWE, I think, because of the past knowledge that is passed down from generation to generation. It's going to end that in the WWE realms unless they do something stupid and they get rid of a couple people. But the people that
I don't think they will. Look, at the end of the day, this company's about making money, and those guys and Triple H makes money.
And the other thing is the people that he had with him that he got rid of, i.e. William Regal, are back. And
yes, I am so ecstatic about that.
I didn't want to bring it up. Because I knew you didn't see the whole NXT last week.
Oh, dude, I freaked the hell out when I saw that Regal's back.
By the time it aired. But when because I saw it, I didn't want to spoil it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I try. I'm a good friend. And it came on last week because I watched. Usually NXT, I can watch when I put the kids to bed. Or it depends. Sean will watch a little bit of NXT, especially if Braun Breaker's on. Then he'll definitely watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, this is going to be a fun time. This road to WrestleMania.
It's gonna
I'm
be.
really looking forward to it. Lots of twists and turns coming.
It's gonna be phenomenal. And you know what? He's gonna have a big match, I think, this year.
I hope so. AJ deserves it.
I think we're gonna get the phenomenal one against Orton again.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay. I think those two,
Yeah.
give them one of their matches. They're gonna knock it out of the park.
I would argue that between, say, 2007 and maybe 2010, that when Randy Orton was in there, Randy Orton didn't have one bad match.
No. We're actually going to predict that card in a few minutes.
Yeah, we got to predict. You know what? Let's get it. Let's get right into it. Let's predict Saturday night. Or Sunday night.
It's Sunday for some reason. Just keep it Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, me last weekend. My weekend was insane. Like I had, Friday night I had to do all the laundry and everything else that I have, adult responsibilities about.
Right.
Because Saturday it was go over to my aunt's for a game night,
Right.
and we'd be there around like 5, 6 o'clock. Last thing I said to my wife before we left Saturday night was, honey, I want to be back at a reasonable time. I want to be able to watch Royal Rumble tomorrow morning before I go out to watch the conference championship games with my one buddy who we've been trying to get together all playoffs to watch football, and each weekend I've bailed on him. So I was just like, okay, I have to go on Sunday because this is it. And so last thing I said to her, honey, I don't want it to be a 3 a.m. night.
Right.
So guess what time I got to bed on Saturday night?
3 a.m.
3:50 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, 10 minutes to 4. And I said to my wife, I'm like, wow, in about 24 and a half hours or so, I have to get up for work.
Exactly.
On Monday.
Nice.
Yeah. So I still was up by about 9, watched the Royal Rumble.
Right.
And somehow went to the bar, struggled a couple beers down, watching the conference championship games.
Right.
So anyway, I say all that to say, now this weekend, I have absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
All weekend. Nothing.
All right, so let's pick Vengeance Day.
All right, Vengeance Day, which I will watch in lieu of the NFL Pro Bowl.
Right. So we're going to have Corbin and Breakker against Mello and Williams.
I think I'm with you. We're not going to have Trick pulling double duty 2 pay-per-views in a row. So I'll go. What are their Wolf Dogs?
Wolf Dogs, Corbin and Breakker. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going with Corbin and Brock.
Well, I know. I didn't even have to ask who you wanted.
No, it's who I guess is going to win.
Right.
I mean, they are trying to build the Carmelo Hayes up, but...
All right. Next up, for the Women's Championship, Laya Valkyria defending against Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez.
This is interesting because I could see Sean being right. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go Roxanne. I think Roxanne wins. I think we get a title change at Vengeance Day.
Well, we're all predicting the title change. I think Roxanne will bring the title to Philadelphia to really promote her as one of the next big stars.
Agreed. And maybe she'll drop the belt back to Valkyria.
Right.
Dragon Lee.
And then we have
Dragon Lee.
Obafema against Dragon Lee for the North American title.
Dude, if last night was any indication, I don't see anybody that can touch this dude, Obafemi. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I think this is the beginning of a dominant North American title reign for him.
Yeah, I'm going with Fetty too. Next match on the list here is the title match between Dragunov and Trick.
Wait, is he doing two?
Trick's doing 2 matches. Yeah, he's got 2, Sean.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Trick.
Trick, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really beginning to think that's where they're going to go with this. All right. And how about you, Sean?
Wait.
Ilya Dragunov or Trick Williams?
Trick Williams.
All right. Next one is the mixed 6-person tag team between the D'Angelo family and OTM.
OTM.
I mean, we're not really trying to build an OTM. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with the family because they're going to be defending the tag titles against the winners of the Dusty Cup. So you're not really trying to build a challenger for them for the next pay-per-view.
Right.
So yeah, I'll go the family.
And then we have the match announced last night, the no DQ match between Dijak and Joe Gacy.
Joe.
I'll go Dijak just because I think this is a spot like you're trying to make Dijak look like the overwhelming, super dominant heel, and Joe Gacy just that babyface who won't go away. I think he still loses, but at the end, it's like kind of like we end up still having so much more respect for Joe Gacy.
Right, that's how I feel. So it looks like we pretty much picked the same matches.
Yeah.
In the card.
Hey, not me.
Yeah, Sean's the wild card because Sean's going with Dragon Lee, OTM, and Joe Gacy.
Okay.
And then the other 3 were all the same. So this little wild card is going for the wild.
He gets a chance to build a lead against us.
I have a 2-point lead.
Yeah.
Because
of the matches on Raw and SmackDown.
Well, yeah, because he picked Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Him.
Oh, yeah.
The Kabuki Warriors and Logan and Kevin Owens, where you did Carter and Chance, lost that, and I got Kabuki and Logan Paul correct.
Wait,
right.
Up for this?
All right, so it's 11-9-9.
Yeah.
If he participates in all of the picks.
I mean, hey, for right now, yeah, let's let him ride.
So
I'm gonna join every podcast now.
Oh, you're coming back? Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good time to go ahead and get out of here. I've had a great time. Always fun hanging with you, Sean. Maybe we could go to WrestleMania Night 1 together, buddy.
For real?
Why not? If your dad's good with it.
If you guys wanted to, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we got time, bud.
Yeah. That we do.
Yep. Although it's funny because I posted on, I'm in a group all about the WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and someone keeps posting like, "Hey, I've got tickets I could sell." And I just responded, "Well, how much?"
Right.
Because I want to know what. And now I'm getting flooded with messages from people. Oh yeah, I've got tickets. Like, I just wanted to know how much. Can I just inquire?
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's what happens.
Can you buy me a ticket?
We'll work on all this.
I said buy me a ticket.
Yeah, this sounds like an off-air topic of conversation. Everybody, have a great night. Thank you for joining us, and happy wrestling.